we're pressure testing Update's national Walmart relaunch. Update has just relaunched with Kim K as co-founder and is rolling into more than 4,000 Walmart stores nationwide. The product's built around paraxanthine instead of caffeine, positioned as energy without the jitters or crash. It's entering one of the most competitive and velocity-driven departments in Walmart, energy drinks. Let's move into packaging. The first test is simple. Is the benefit clear in under 3 seconds? When you look at Update on shelf, the front of the can is dominated by the brand name. The functional benefit around caffeine-free energy is not on the front of pack, and this is a problem.
But I'm a little bit confused, okay?
From a shelf distance point of view, you see the color blocks, you see the brand name, but even if the consumer takes the time to pick up the product, there's no benefits called out visually on the back of pack. Though there is a paragraph explaining, paraxanthine and that it's out of your body in 4 hours.
Wait, I'm a little confused though, because this doesn't say any kind of caffeine content.
In contrast, you look at competitor packaging and they make the benefit really clear in the first 3 seconds. Alani Nu is flavor loud with visual fruit cues. Bloom's wellness-coded design and benefit call-outs read as better for you lifestyle energy. Now, the multi-pack does call out benefits, but not large enough to be read at shelf distance. Plus, they're frankly unclear. Paraxanthine powered, this is an unknown ingredient in the category right now. Elevated focus, motivational energy, intentional ingredients. None of these really explain the functional benefit, which is energy without the drawbacks of caffeine. On the website, this is called out as clean energy and zero jitters or crash. Prior versions of the pack I found called out caffeine evolved, zero caffeine, and crash-free clarity. I'd be curious to see if they tested like a more straightforward version of this claim, something like clean, caffeine-free energy. The second layer is claim hierarchy. A quick test I encourage founders to do is 3M VAS to understand where the buyer's eye is drawn to first and then what follows. On the Update can face, brand name dominates and the claims energy drink, 0 calories, 0 sugar appear secondary or subtle. The last piece you notice is the flavor, which is okay, except that the color isn't really in line with the flavor. So for example, berry is blue, not a pink shade like a consumer would generally expect. And whilst flavor isn't the USP of this product, it is one of the first stages of the energy drink consumer's decision tree. And this is likely why other brands have featured it more prominently. When it comes to premium packaging, an issue I've seen many founders face is that while their minimalist packaging looks excellent on a computer or mobile screen, it really struggles to hold up under that fluorescent lighting. So here you can see some of the soft colors wash out under harsh, cooler lighting, especially versus really neon heavy competitors. And this does help the cans to stand out chromatically, but it doesn't scream functional energy. The bold vertical typography is easily legible, but again, the coloring makes it difficult to read once it's under that harsh lighting. In contrast, the multi-pack looks incredible. The reflective quality ensures standout, and that black text is really easy to read. The broader insight is this: Update's packaging is brand forward, aesthetic forward, and really culturally fluent, but energy shelves are brutal. If awareness remains high and marketing reinforces the story, then it's going to convert. But if that brand heat cools, the pack is going to need to rely more heavily on that compressed functional messaging to protect sell-through, and I'm just concerned that it's not quite there. On the note of brand awareness, that brings us to look at Update's campaign and marketing strategy since relaunch. Based on what we can observe, Update's current growth levers appear to be celebrity equity, novelty factor, social buzz, TikTok discovery, cultural conversation, small-scale influence amplification, and then the press coverage based around Kim's involvement. Celebrity awareness can absolutely drive first trial, create shelf curiosity, and generate traffic through that launch window, but I'd love to see them take this a step further. So right now we have this visual on socials, but they would kill it if they could get Kim in store, as well as a lot more brand-led social content around the launch, like these examples from Bloom. Retail media is definitely going to be required to support visibility during the first 90 days. They've got really excellent UGC showing people going into Walmart to discover the product. This is huge for retailers because ultimately they want more traffic to their stores. I'd love to see them support this further through featuring on TikTok. So the product's been live in Walmart now for a week, but the retailer doesn't feature anywhere on their TikTok page. Bloom did this really well when they launched in mass retail. They turned Bloom Spotted at Target into a content engine. Update should really aggressively encourage shelf-find UGC and localize every major marketing beat to store availability. Another tactic they could use is partnering directly with the Walmart Connect influencer program to create shelf discovery UGC so they can quickly put paid behind it as they would have ownership over that content. Online, I'd love to see Update engage Walmart Connect search and sponsored placements to ensure that they're immediately visible. Right now when you search energy drinks, C4 and Red Bull come up. Update is actually a couple of pages back. Display via retail paid media would be a great place for Update to communicate around usage occasions. So, for example, they could target around time to that 3 p.m. slump if that's what they're going after. And again, they need to be communicating on their functional benefit at a national level. Kim does a great making of video on her TikTok, which could be amplified, and Update could follow the direction of luxury fashion designers and creating making of or process videos to bring paraxanthine as an ingredient and the functional benefit to life and show why a consumer should buy this. And then this would flow really nicely into press and influence activation. Right now, their socials feature ingredient imagery, which is arguably their least important benefit. And their language is just not clear enough. I'd love to see them change the headline from energy uncompromised, intentional energy to unlock clarity, to something closer to clean, caffeine-free energy. At least in retail, this is going to be a huge win for them in retail marketing materials, which require a really straightforward, quick, simple claims hierarchy. Bloom Pop did this exceptionally well. The shopper instantly understood why the product existed. For Update, the equivalent needs to be just as blunt and just as repetitive. Something like real energy, no caffeine, no crash, with a supporting headline, powered by paraxanthine, the no jitters part of caffeine. That pairing should live everywhere, front of can, shelf blades, end caps, Walmart.com tiles, and retail media. And it needs to be that same line over and over, so it's unmistakable. Beyond messaging, they should push for a dedicated Update block, not just shelf facings. A new kind of energy side stack or an Action Alley palette during launch weeks would allow them to visually carve out a lane inside the category. A simple repeating visual system, one strong color per flavor, a large no caffeine burst, and a concise benefit bar like no crash, no jitters, zero sugar would dramatize differentiation at a distance. And that's how you earn trial fast enough to survive that 90-day reset window. There's also an interesting opportunity around dual merchandising. If Walmart's open to it, then co-locating Update near vitamins, women's wellness, or like sleep anxiety adjacent end caps during launch weeks could really reinforce the caffeine alternative position and reach shoppers who aren't currently browsing the energy aisle right now. Bloom effectively redefined part of the soda aisle by pairing wellness with refreshment. And now Update has the opportunity to redefine a portion of the energy aisle by anchoring energy without caffeine as its own lane. And there's a sequencing lesson here from Bloom that's important also. Bloom didn't just enter retail, they activated retail. They built awareness steadily over time, developed a defined consumer identity, and created a strong social to store loop before scaling into Walmart. By the time they expanded broadly, they had demand momentum and a repeat engine already forming. So retail wasn't a leap, it was an acceleration. Update's taking a much bolder path. Launching directly into Walmart is difficult in itself, but launching into roughly 4,000 doors nationwide immediately is just exponentially harder. You don't get a slow ramp, you don't get to test velocity in 200 stores and refine the playbook. The reset clock starts immediately, and that increases pressure on every single lever, from messaging, display, retail media, and of course, supply chain. So while Bloom provides a strong template, single benefit clarity, aggressive in-store activation, and tight retail media integration, Update doesn't have the same luxury of time, and the marketing architecture has to work immediately. That means anchoring one simple benefit frame everywhere, building physical visibility that dramatizes energy without caffeine, and wiring Kim and Creative Buzz directly into Walmart trial and repeat metrics from day one. So to lay this all out as we finish, you'll see we have a mixed bag in terms of Update's likelihood to succeed in Walmart. I spent the last 10 years launching CPG products into mass retail. If you have any questions, I'd love to help. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.